I would like to request Dr. Mrs. Anita Bhatnagar, who has been our source of inspirations for the conference, this particular conference, and perhaps for the future conferences as well, and who is currently heading National Translation Mission, as well as she is the Joint Secretary of Higher Education in India from Ministry of Human Resource Development, which has the authority and the power and the mandate to promote education in India at higher levels. Perhaps her views and thoughts could be of great help to us, and may I request my ma'am to please come on the dais. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody, or shall I say good evening? Now we are at that juncture of time, and namaskar. You know, I had the option of speaking right after lighting the lamp, but I requested to Ravi Kumarji that I would like to listen and learn from what other speakers have to say. Mr. Oscar Porzol, Mrinal Kanti Das ji, Swandata ji, and Mr. Ravi Kumar, the inspiration and the force behind holding this conference here, and all the participants, all the academicians, everybody who has come, not only from within our country, but from all across the world here. I'm extremely very privileged and honored to get an opportunity to share my thoughts with you based on my limited experience here. As Raviji mentioned, I am Joint Secretary in Higher Education and I am Joint Secretary Languages in MHRD, Government of India. The speakers before me have already mentioned about the tapestry of our country, the diversity, and let me share this with you. Initially, maybe I took this diversity in our country for granted. I never thought that it's a distinctive feature of our country till the time I went to certain such places where they did not have such a lot of diversity in the various aspects. You already know, I mean, we are a country of diversities and diversities in every sphere. If we speak of the racial diversity, yes, around 6 races. Linguistic diversity, I will come to later on because obviously that's my basic issue. The caste diversity, the Varn, the Jati. The religious diversity. We have various religions, as you all are aware, and I will not name them. But the very fact of the diversity can be gauged from this, that in Hinduism, we recognize that there are around 300 million gods and goddesses. So every village, every tribe they have this option and their deity is recognized. So that speaks about the openness, because ultimately we will have diversity only if we are open and accommodative. Sanskrit, Tamil, Telugu and Kannada. And there is a separate definition which has been given by the Government of India regarding this, regarding the antiquity of these languages and the literature in this, and how it is very different from that classical literature, how it is very different from the modern literature in that particular language. So I just gave you this background, and not only the Government of India, our department is not only dealing with these various languages, but we also have an English and foreign language university. And yes, there are foreign languages being taught in various universities too. And we are also setting up centers, rather we have been, there's been a plethora of demands to set up centers for teaching various languages, especially English language, in various countries all across the world. And we are actually not able to meet up that demand because the demand is very huge. So the question is of various other languages, not only ours, but internationally other languages too. You might be aware that yes, we have a 3-language formula in the schools for learning languages. And very recently, the government of Sri Lanka has approached government of India to assist them that they have a 10-year vision of a master plan, how to move the Sri Lankan society towards a trilingual society in which there will be Tamil, Sinhala and English. And yes, when one interacts in all these spheres, it is very, very exciting how to know how much you can do. And yes, ultimately when we develop languages, then only we are going to keep them alive, communicate, build up a society, and actually strive towards a harmonious society. Just last week, I was lucky enough. I was in Brussels, and I was there to address one wing of the European Parliament regarding sustaining diversity. And it's very interesting. Our experience is very, very different. We are a huge country with so many languages. Their experience is that they have so many countries, which makes the task much more difficult. And it is also being questioned there that whether diversity is good or diversity is dividing the people. So there are various sides of the same perspective which can be said. I would like to brief you a little about the National Translation Mission because everybody gathered here together is in some way associated with translation. National Translation Mission is a flagship program under the National Knowledge Commission. And this particular program is very, very exciting in the sense, the speaker before me pointed out, and it's very, very interesting. I was just thinking there and I was thinking that how interesting it is that we think about the same issue from a different perspective. Obviously, from a person in the police, he will think from the law and order point of view. From education, we think from the point of view that yes, there will be so many numbers. Our population is fast increasing, and yes, we are at the second number, and we would definitely become number one in this. And the biggest challenge before our country is how to convert this population, which we say, like in 2020, the average age of an Indian will be 29 years. Yes, we have the advantage, we'll have the young population by means of education. Unless and until these massive numbers are not educated appropriately, and by education I don't mean literacy, I also mean that whatever is the demand, the employability, because ultimately the bottom line anywhere is the employability, and unless and until it is not tied to the economic aspect, everything fizzles out. So that is the biggest challenge before us, that how do we do this? Now, as in our country we have various languages and our states are also organized more or less on the linguistic basis. But the English-speaking population is a minuscule minority. In the entire country, especially the rural areas, the people would not know English, they will know their own regional language. Now, this National Translation Mission is aimed at translating knowledge text in various regional languages, the various scheduled languages, and we have sort of started moving forward because I think you at least will appreciate that how difficult, how complex a task this is. And the initial stage obviously is very, very difficult in every project, but in this, it is more complex because of the number of languages which are involved. We aim to translate books in around 69 disciplines in our 22 scheduled languages, for which we have done a massive survey all across the country of various universities, seen their syllabi, and in which languages the books will be required, and which are the books which should be taken, and which are the languages, because there are certain languages in which there is no education, no instruction being given, nor is there any demand. But this particular project is going to change the social scenario, the socio-economic, cultural scenario of this country, because when children will have books which are available in their own particular language. Because at present, most of the books, especially in the urban sector, they are available in the English language. And a person is at a handicap because those books are, I think we shouldn't expect that it will translate very well. And many a times, the translation is absolutely different. And you know, he said you speak something, and it's suddenly very difficult to speak something to the machine. And since Thiruvananthapuram is on the seashore, so the first thing which came into my mind was, because as it was mentioned, that what a person wants to convey. I mean, ultimately it depends upon the translator whether you make it or you mar it. So that's a very, very big challenge in front of us as we will move ahead with this particular project ahead. I would also like to say that yes, we have lots of challenges. This is not a rosy picture. This is a very, very difficult path. And as far as languages are concerned, the biggest problems which all of us know: globalization, urbanization, migration, breaking up of families into nuclear families. The economic factor, the achiever languages versus the endangered languages. The languages which have the economic and the political power behind them. I mean, there are so many various issues which makes it a very, very complex task, not only how to sustain, keep these languages alive, and the second issue of how to keep the purity of the languages alive. Yes, we are growing, things are changing, everything is dynamic. I mean, even our body, ourselves, everything is changing, but yet, in language, extremely happy. In fact, I did not know when Raviji invited me for this particular occasion. Frankly speaking, I will share this till I met him yesterday and I had a small chat with him, and I became very excited, and I was so happy to know that there is so much going on and so much will be achieved by this particular conference which you are having here. And I would say that it's my loss, because I never wanted to come here and speak, from the podium, but I wanted to be a part of the audience there, sitting and learning from the various countries what exactly you are doing and how we can learn from those practices. But unfortunately, since I have to be away on a tour, so then I said, okay, I might at least benefit from the short occasion. And after your conference gets over, and whatever are the recommendations, very important issue was raised about the regulations of the translation industry, also good translation, how to have norms. So whatever your recommendations which emerge out of this conference, and especially the practices from the various countries, I would be very, very grateful that later on, if that can be shared with the ministry, and we sort of try and think of a strategy, of a way out of how we as a ministry, as a Government of India department can assist in this particular sector. And since we are speaking of translators' languages, I would also like to say, which I feel that whenever we speak of languages and keeping that alive, not only documentation, but keeping them alive, the responsibility lies with us. With each one of us, wherever we are, because we have to keep the languages alive in our families. And that's the only way to keep them alive. The governments, the policies, nobody is going to keep them alive. They will only remain on paper. And not only our own, English definitely, because Sanskritization, everybody needs jobs and everybody wants to learn English, but also to have a sense of identity, a self-respect for one's own particular language, especially I would say in Indian context. In certain areas we feel that this is the language, so certain sections of the society feel that we only need to know this particular language, even if they are unable to speak it, very, very, not up to a certain mark, or the knowledge, the literature of one particular language to another, and keeping it alive, keeping our historical traditions and everything alive. I would definitely just like to quote this. I do not know, at least it touched my heart, that it said, yes, we are different. We speak different languages. We have different mannerisms. We eat different food. But yet, we are not that different that we cannot get along together. So it's a salute to diversity and a salute to unity when we are here together to speak of the future of the translation industry. And I would like to say not only the role of translation in national building, but the role of translation in building an international global community, a harmonious, peaceful, beautiful earth. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.